Episode 113. The holidays are over. Why are you still dressed like that, Komoi? Of course, I recorded all of most of those episodes, before the actual holiday started, so I didn't have to do any work during break. So by the time I came back to recording right now for this episode, all the holidays are over. Didn't really plan out when I'd get back to things, but guess it was in the middle of those Moogle delivery quests that all that happened. So now a huge time skip has happened. Well, time skip of a few weeks anyway. Not that that really matters. It just means that we're gonna do something else right now. We're going to take a break from all of that Moogle stuff for, lo and behold, another event happening right now. As soon as I get back, we come to this. Actually looks kind of annoying. With these cloudy skies, it should be a festive time with these kites flying high in the air. Maybe by the time we finish the quest, I can get a better view of it. I guess we can say that Komori is taking a break from all of that Moogle delivery stuff because she's on maternity leave or something. Picked up this mole from that quest where we killed its mother, but since it's blind, I'm not sure if it knows that fact. I don't think Komori has a very solid idea of what it takes to raise a growing mole, but we'll see. Now the Heavensturn event is of course something that happens during New Year's. I actually forgot this was going to happen, but obviously it happens every year. I guess my mind was solely focused on the holiday Christmas event or whatever it is. There are actually a few NPCs around here, so see if any of them know anything about this holiday or can tell us something about it, because I've forgotten what this is celebrating in universe. The sea here is such a marvelous color, so different to the waters back home. How I'd love to dive right in and swim to my heart's content. Forgive me. If you're looking to take part in our little Heavensturn event, you ought to speak to the Hebi Bugio. I guess some of these NPCs are just to fill the room or something. I don't remember these kites from previous years. I think they're new. They're so high up in the sky, I feel like I'd remember them. And actually, this is the year of the snake, isn't it? Right. Last year was Year of the Dragon. I think I do remember the last year event, which I played on my main character, of course. Oh, right, this. I guess we'll talk to this person later, but... Greetings, my friend. I deal in omikuji. Traditional Far Eastern fortunes. Would you care to draw one? Thought this might actually be part of the quest, but maybe that was the previous year or some year before it. We could do it right now, but let's save it for later. So, we'll get the explanation later too. The delivery Moogle stuff actually, I can't continue, or rather, it'll reach a point where I can't really do all the quests as I plan to do, because there are still, like with this mole thing, prerequisites that I have to do to make the next Moogle quest appear. For this mole, it wasn't too bad. I guess I just had to go out and do some random side quests over in Gridania for that one researcher. But the other prerequisite that I need to actually finish all of the Moogle quests is something that's actually a big quest chain later on. Hildebrand. Which I'm planning to do all in one go as well, but if I want to do Hildebrand all in one go, then I can't just do the first quest from that and then continue the Moogle quests. I could, but then I can't do Hildebrand all in one go. So I'm faced with this unfortunate decision of having to do all of Hildebrand in one go, or doing one quest from Hildebrand and finishing off all of the Moogle quests. So I'll just make a little break in the Moogle stuff and do Hildebrand all in one go, and finish off the Moogles some other time. But that's not what we're doing this episode. We're speaking with the Hebi Bugio, right? But I guess these other people will tell us more about it. Some people. Bunny head, chicken body. Absolutely nothing to do with Year of the Snake. I don't think, anyway. Good morrow to you, my lady. I am the Hebi Doshin, a member of a far eastern delegation, come to share our traditions of Heavensturn with the good people of Eorzea. If there is aught you would know of this year's celebration, you need only ask. What do you do here? At the turning of the year, a small delegation of our people will journey to Eorzea to celebrate the coming of Heavensturn, and in so doing, strengthen the bonds of friendship between Eorzea and the Far East. This year, our leader, the Hebi Bugio, has planned a uniquely entertaining quiz that delves into all manner of Heavensturn trivia. Pray test your knowledge and mark this most auspicious of occasions. What's Heavensturn? You are unfamiliar with this festival? The tradition has a rich history which dates back centuries, but I do not wish to bore you, so I shall try and keep my summation brief. Heavensturn is a celebration that marks the start of a new year, though the way in which it is observed differs from region to region. Here in Eorzea, it is said that the 12 select one among them to keep vigil over the realm until the next passing of the 12 moons. I believe this year it is Limlane, Watcher of the Seas and Goddess of Navigation, who has been charged with this duty. Limlane, of course, is actually one of the patrons of this city specifically, since she's the Goddess of the Sea. Her mark is over where I can't turn the camera, that one area where the Rising event was, that little fountain. We don't have to stop by there, but I've been there a few times. In the Far East, however, the changing of the year is heralded by one of 12 totem animals. As you have no doubt discerned from my helm, this year, we pay homage to the revered Hebi. Hebi being Japanese for snake, of course. I speak of the creature you would know better as a snake. It is a nice helmet. Last year I think you got some kind of clothing, but I'm pretty sure you don't get one this year. So we don't get that fancy looking snake helmet, unfortunately. Looks like she's got some special meals for the event. I guess we'll buy one. See what this looks like. And buy these in case we ever do get an apartment or a house. Have a snack, Omori. Actually, what was the description on that? What is a Sony? A clear soup served on special occasions. Its origins are in the Far East. Well, I know that it's clear and I know that it's soup now, but I don't know what's in the soup, unfortunately. I'm sure I'll have to, I'm sure I can, look it up. It's a real food, of course. I imagine. Oh, I missed it. Give me another. Ah, I see. That is a Kagami Mochi. Is there a description there too? This peculiar contraption creates illusions by weaving together myriad shades of light. Produces a festive stack of Heavensturn Advent cakes. I guess that's the English translation, I wasn't really familiar. That makes sense though. Kagami Mochi, and actually, yeah, they're doing it over here too. With a snowman. This one here, for example. Kagami Mochi, to my knowledge, I'm not really an expert on this sort of thing, is a kind of mochi, which I believe is a dango? No, it's not a dango. That's a different thing. Mochi is rice, pounded rice, that's kind of folded together into a ball or something like that. Could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it's rice though. And Kagami Mochi is something that's used for the New Year as decoration. I guess it's also eaten during New Year, but I think it's mainly decoration. Don't know how delicious it is, but Kagami Mochi is formed by creating one big dango. Not dango. Again, a different thing. Oops. Created by one big mochi, here at the bottom, with a smaller mochi stacked on top, which I guess resembles a snowman, but for whatever reason, the Kagami Mochi is shaped that way. And it also has, for whatever reason, again, I don't know why, an orange placed on top. I think the orange is something called like a bitter orange, a dye. Don't know what makes that different from a normal orange, but I guess it's sometimes replaced with other fruit. I only know this because I've seen art of it on social media and whatnot, of people decorating their timeline with Kagami Mochi. Not drawing necessarily Kagami Mochi itself, but art inspired by Kagami Mochi, which is, of course, the buttocks, or breasts, stacked in such a way that they resemble Kagami Mochi. It's a fun thing to make art out of. You can imagine it, can't you? Looking at this, if you were to turn your head on the side, or the other way, turn your body to the side so that your buttocks/breasts resemble Kagami Mochi, with an orange stacked on top of those. I've seen a lot of art like that. It actually happens every year. It's something I look forward to. But anyway. Kagami Mochi. Actually, all this Far Eastern stuff, we're dealing with the Domin refugees at this point in the story. It feels a little bit weird to see more Far Eastern stuff in a more festive attitude when we kind of have more dire straits with the people over in Mordona, but actually has this happened every year with these people, this event, ever since 2.0 first came out? Because when the patch 2.x quests were coming out, I imagine one of these might have also come out, and this exact narrative dissonance might have happened if they had this festive event from the Far East going on at the same time as the Domin refugee subplot. Maybe they didn't do this every year, but had a different event each year. Just wondering. I guess I could look up online what the previous events were, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. Even if we have the Domin subplot going on, who says we can't celebrate with a separate group? Oh, huh. I guess we'll get to that. Kagami Mochi, but also the snake. I get it. I see. Just piecing it together in my mind, I get it now. I don't think I talked about this snake before, Ronka or whatever. That's way later, but I guess it's popular enough that it appears even now in stuff that you can unlock way earlier. The Great Serpent of Ronka. I'll talk about that when we actually get into this event though. I'm sure this will appear in the actual cutscenes for the event. My, you look ready for all manner of arduous journeys and feats of valor. An adventurer, perchance. Pray forgive my idle speculation. I am known as the Hebi Bugio, and along with my fellow delegates, have come to these shores that we might share our Heavensturn custom with the fine folk of Eorzea. Both our peoples mark the turning of one year to the next, but how we do so differs in a few key respects. In Eorzean tradition, the 12 choose one of their number to guide the realm throughout the coming year. In the Far East, however, custom dictates we honor one of the 12 noble beasts. This year's totem is none other than the Hebi, although the term snake might be more familiar to Eorzean ears. Where I hail from, this oft-reviled creature represents longevity and regeneration, owing to the miraculous manner in which the Hebi emerges anew, time and time again after shedding its skin. that many and more may benefit from the noble beast blessings, my fellow delegates and I have devised what we hope will be an entertaining little event. I present to you the inaugural Slithery Trivia Trial. Participants will wend their way snake-like through the city streets and answer the questions posed by the trivia taskmasters they encounter. Oh, so that's what those guys are here for. I have bid my sisters, the three Hebi Yoriki, await their charges at certain locations throughout Imsa. As for you, adventurer, I urge you seek them out, and put your knowledge of Far Eastern customs to the test. And rest assured that an auspicious prize is yours for the taking should you succeed. Consider it a means of stocking up on good fortune before your next foray out into the world. How about it? Have I piqued your interest? This little event of ours is first and foremost about promoting insight and understanding. To that end, should you find yourself stumped during the quiz, simply say so, and my sisters will provide a helpful hint. If it is a perfect score you seek, you may also wish to speak with the Hebi Doshin and acquire the knowledge you need. The first quizmaster you shall face is the eldest of my younger sisters, and the blue Hebi Yoriki. You'll find her a short distance north of here. Pray shed your misgivings and venture forth. So there's actual scoring here. Sometimes I give the wrong answer in multiple choice things in Final Fantasy, just for the sake of getting more interesting dialogue. If we're going to be scored, maybe I'll ignore role-playing as the idiot that Komoi is, that I think of her as, sometimes, and actually go for the perfect score. Let's just say that she actually wants to get it right this time, so she'll put in the work to do some research. I guess I did kind of decide that, with her name being Komoi Moriko. And she's maybe of Far Eastern descent, never been there. We'll call this reclaiming her heritage or something. Not that she has any real interest in that sort of thing. I come seeking knowledge. Say no more. Pray listen carefully. We Far Easterners are fond of our superstitions, one of which concerns the Hebi, a creature said to bestow great fortune upon all who behold one. But Hebi are as multifarious as they are scaly, and while each species has their merits, white Hebi in particular are revered for their rarity. But there is one serpent that stands, or rather slithers, above the rest, and that is the fabled Great White Tsuchinoko, Luck Giver Supreme. Tsuchinoko, of course, is kind of a Japanese mythological creature, a UMA or UMA, as some might call it. Some purport that it actually exists, and some true believers may believe that, I guess. But it is nonetheless a mythical creature, a very short snake, which was, of course, the minion we were hovering over. But of course that minion is just another recoloring of the Great Serpent of Ronka, the original Tsuchinoko that was added in during Shadowbringers. Tsuchinoko, I guess usually, coincidentally, has the same shape as a Kagami Mochi, except inverted. Smaller body with bigger head, or rather, that's the incarnation in Final Fantasy, I think. Most Tsuchinoko are probably big body, smaller head. And I think they're actually, if you're going strictly based on the lore, they have like a flat body, a flat round body, and which the head and tail are kind of shortly protruding out of. If you're not familiar, dunsparce might be something more commonly known, but of course I'm just talking to myself here. I guess I'm just saying this out loud to practice putting my own knowledge into actual organized words, in case I ever actually have to do it in real life. Traditionally, the people of Hingashi have used rice cakes to decorate their homes and represent the creature when praying for its blessings. Alas, in modern times, sightings of the real serpent have all but ceased. Oh, is that it? I thought we'd maybe get, like, I don't know, a lot more. Just some basic stuff about Tsuchinoko is all we need? Okay. The branching ocean air, the hustle and the bustle. What a marvelous place. I do hope my dear sisters and I get a chance to do some sightseeing. Oh, I keep getting caught up in the charms of this fair city. I have a question for you. Slithery trivia trial contender. Let me see. Ready? As you are no doubt aware, the snake is considered a most auspicious creature in my native Hingashi. But what blessing can one hope to receive from the humble Hebi? I'm actually forgetting. I'm pretty sure it was good health, but between fair fortune and good health, I was like... pretty sure they mentioned you get a couple of different things from seeing the white snake. But I'm pretty sure it was just health. I don't explicitly remember fortune, but I more or less do explicitly remember health. Anyway, if we accept help here, does that detract from our perfect score? I imagine it would. No, I was wrong. I guess it was fair fortune after all. I was just role-playing Komori the idiot. Of course. That's all it was. I can't even remember a simple fact like that. How embarrassing. Well, I can certainly see why you'd associate snakes with physical well-being. After all, some people partake of heady concoctions bottled with vipers and such to keep them virile and strong. But alas, unlike their spirit-steeped brethren, the snakes we are speaking of are said to bestow fair fortune. By the way, there exists one scalekin in particular, known to lavish extra helpings of luck on those who encounter it, the Tsuchinoko. Where other serpents are sleek and slender, the Tsuchinoko is broad and bulbous. Alas, few have ever laid eyes upon its decidedly unsnake-like form. Anyhow, that brings my section of the quiz to an end. You'll find my younger sister, the yellow Hebi Yoriki, by the drowning wench. Pay her a visit for the next round of the slithery trivia trial. Damn. So do they actually record your results here? Because in Final Fantasy, they usually don't record that sort of thing. They bend all dialogue options to root back into the main timeline, so to speak. Whether you're right or you're wrong, or whatever answer you give, it all comes back to the same stuff, which this will surely do with the questline. But if they change the ending dialogue based on how correct you were, then I won't be getting the perfect score dialogue. Well, maybe we can go for the perfectly wrong dialogue, if there is one. But that still requires knowing which answer is correct, so I can pick the wrong answer. We'll see. By the Kami, this city is absolutely packed with people. 'Tis enough to send you dizzy. Give me a moment, contender. You're aware that the snake is a symbol of luck, yes? Well, some snakes are luckier than others, and they happen to have one thing in common: their color. Any guesses as to what that might be? It's white, but what happens if we say glittering gold? A glittering gold snake. Sounds like the kind of creature that'd do wonders for your finances, but in all seriousness, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone spawning a snake like that. White was the answer I was looking for. White snakes are rare, mystical creatures, hence the association with good fortune. But when it comes to rarity and mystique, there's one snake that deserves special mention, the elusive Great White Tsuchinoko. In times past, people would pray to the lucky serpent in the hope of receiving its blessings. In the past 100 years or so, though, there hasn't been a single recorded sighting of the creature. Its existence is all but a fable these days. Anyway, you have just one question left. Head to the Bismarck to see my little sister, the red Hebi. The red Hebi, the youngest of we 4 sisters if you must know, is by the Bismarck. Don't keep her waiting too long. Actually, did I get the extra dialogue from the blue Hebi? I may have skimmed over it. Oh, they glow. Glowing kites. That's pretty nice. The next quizmaster is my sister, the yellow Hebi. You should be able to find her by the tavern, the Drowning Wench. Pray speak with her. Well, there wasn't really anything to get from that. The extra dialogue from the yellow Hebi did actually tell us that the red one is the youngest sister. I was hoping for at least a little bit of flavor like that. Just the tiniest bit of flavor, that's all. Bismarck is the Culinarians Guild, but can you actually buy anything at the Bismarck? It's like a restaurant right here in Limsa, specifically for Culinarians, and it's actually a pretty nice spot at night. I imagine some RPer is coming here for a date or something. But you can't actually buy anything here, can you? Unless... from Jossie? Of course, this would all be for Culinarians to bake things out of. It's all raw ingredients. So the answer, I think, is no. You can't actually buy a meal here at the Bismarck. Strange. Just one of those weird gameplay things, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway. Ah, what heavenly smells. I must remember to visit the Bismarck and pick up a few tasty treats for my sisters. There you are, contender. I've been waiting for you. I hope you're ready for the last question. I assume you heard all about how we Far Easterners used to revere the Great White Tsuchinoko, yes? I'm guessing my sister also told you how there's been an area sighting for over a century now. A crying shame, I tell you. Still, the people of Hingashi, being the resourceful people they are, found a suitable surrogate to pay respects to during Heavensturn. Any ideas as to what they might have turned to? Well, I can guess. Rice cakes, based on everything. But, if we're going for the perfectly wrong answer, I guess the most interesting dialogue might be from Moogle. Though I'm still wondering what kind of dialogue we might get out of saying eggs. Moogles are those furry white pig-like creatures you have here in Eorzea, yes? You're not far off with the color, but we're not too familiar with the fuzzy little devils in the Far East. No, the correct answer was rice cakes. When I say cake, you're probably thinking of something nice and light. But the rice cakes we decorate our homes with during Heavensturn and Hingashi are rock hard. Oh, I actually thought mochi were soft. Well, the mochi that you eat I'm pretty sure, but I guess if you decorate them and leave them out, they get hard. I don't think I've ever really had mochi. Maybe like one or two from somewhere. one Japanese restaurant or another, but never had it sit out long enough to get hard, so I don't really know. We take one pebbly hard rice cake and stack it on top of another. You have to use your imagination a little, but they're supposed to look like the Great White Tsuchinoko itself. This I'm pretty sure isn't related to actual Kagami Mochi lore, but again, I'm not an expert. I don't think those are meant to resemble Tsuchinoko. From what little research I did, Kagami Mochi just resemble the shape of an old hand mirror. The sort of figure 8 shape with the top being smaller than the bottom. Was a kind of hand mirror from back in the day or something like that. But as I understand it, the exact reasoning for that shape is lost to time. Again, I did only a little bit of research. I could be wrong. Well, that brings us to the end of the Slithery Trivia Trial. Thanks for taking part. Moment of truth. Doesn't look like the dialogue has any indication of whether or not we got it perfectly wrong. So I don't think there's any dialogue for if you got it perfectly right. It just seems like they're giving you the prize, no matter what. It's participation, so I guess there's really no reason for them to harp on you. We can't forget your prize now, can we? For your efforts, a gift born of the finest, painstaking Hingashi craftsmanship. And it'll be all yours in a matter of moments. Oh, hold on. Blast! I could have sworn we had plenty left. Under normal circumstances, you'd be walking away with an exquisite white Tsuchinoko ornament, positively overflowing with good fortune. But surrounded by all these enticing scents, I completely forgot to restock. My big sister is going to be livid. You're holding out on us. You got one right there. Oh? Seems like there was one left after all. Phew. Sorry about all that. Anyhow, it's all yours. Oh, and, it's impertinent to even ask, I know, but could I trouble you to tell my sister, the Hebi Bugyo, I mean, that I've run out of prizes? I'd happily fetch more myself, but I have to stay here just in case another trivia challenger shows up. So, can I count on you? Much obliged. May the Kami guide you. Alright, we got it. The ornament. Here in our key items. Awarded upon completion of the Slithery Trivia Trial, this suspiciously squidgy for Eastern ornament is supposed to represent the revered Great White Tsuchinoko. It's a very nice ornament. I forgot to get the flavor dialogue. This event is going to disappear after this year forever, so this is the only time to get the flavor dialogue, even if, like the other times, there's absolutely nothing to glean from it. My video is going to record it, damn it. Go and tell my sister, that is to say the Hebi Bugyo, that I need to restock. And there it is, for all posterity, until my video gets deleted from YouTube for whatever reason. Yoriki. Not sure what that term means. I'll have to look it up, but I guess I don't know what Bugyo is either. And I don't know what a Doshin or a Shonin is either. Anyone else? I think it's just those NPCs for this. Oh wait, there's also the Omikujishi, which I can imagine. Omikuji and then Shi, which is... which kanji is that? It's one of the basic ones, but I can't call it to memory out of will. That's a shame. Shi, is that master? The Omikuji master? Is it that usage of Shi? Could be a different one. Am I to understand that my sister allowed prize supplies to run out and asked you to report this fact to me in her stead? Clearly my efforts at disciplining her have fallen short of the mark. I must redouble my efforts. Please accept my sincere apologies. I shall send someone along forthwith to replenish our stocks. Of course, you say that because NPCs aren't really allowed to walk around, most of the time. It'll all happen off-screen. What do you think of my ornament? Ah, what have we here? Did you perhaps drop your prize? Mochi. Mochi. But by the kami. Our prizes may be exquisitely crafted, but they are mere ornaments. They do not possess the faculty for speech or locomotion, I can assure you. Which leads me to think, could this be the fabled great white Tsuchinoko of yore? Unseen and unheard of for generations? To think I'd live to see the day. What a wonderfully auspicious occasion this is. But I must say, it is passing strange that the great white Tsuchinoko should appear in Eorzea of all places. Perhaps it found its way on board our delegation's vessel before we set sail. Perhaps you would be willing to take the creature with you on your journey. Of course, for our delegation, the Sacred Serpent's coming is an event of great historical importance. Nonetheless, we cannot discount the notion that the great white Tsuchinoko chose to appear before you in particular, that you might benefit from its blessings. Besides, it appears quite taken with you. Mochi. Before I forget, I should point out that Omikuji are available to draw for the rest of the Heavensturn season. It might prove a delightful distraction ere matters great and small call you onto the road once again. Not that you need fear drawing a less than encouraging fortune. Nay, with the great white Tsuchinoko at your side, you are sure to overcome any hardships that come slithering your way. You have my heartfelt thanks for joining in with this humble endeavor of ours. May the hallowed Hebi guide you on the path of fortune till the heavens turn once again. We got it. The Far Eastern Omikujishi is offering his services for the remainder of the Heavensturn festivities this year. Speak with him to see what fortune has in store for you after your rendezvous with the great white Tsuchinoko. And that's doing it in the right order. I guess you could talk to him before all this, but it's nice that we were prompted to do that right after. It's available every year, but they actually made that the central part of one of the quests 1 year, maybe a year ago or maybe 2 years ago. And I guess during those quests, they kind of hinted towards the idea that even if you get a bad drawing, you can use the knowledge of the bad drawing to reverse your fortunes. That was kind of the whole point of the quest, so even if you're a loser in the fortune drawing, you can still think of yourself as a winner. By the way, on my main character last year, I got a pretty bad fortune. I think it was the worst fortune, or one of the worst ones. It might have been 5 or 6 tiers. I think I either got the worst fortune or the second to worst fortune. I'm not sure if I could say that my fortune in real life was that bad, but maybe it could have been better. Maybe the Tsuchinoko will help us out. Speaking of misfortune, I guess Komori was saddled with a pretty bad burden not too long ago. This little mole thing. One problem solves another. Come on out. Let's say Komori fed her little mole to this snake. One problem solves another. You don't have to worry about raising your little mole if you feed it to a different animal, but now you have to worry about raising a little snake. Actually store those away. Building a collection here. Hopefully I'll get a house or something to put these all in before I actually fill the inventory with event items. Let's see that description. Initially thought to be a mere ornament, the heavy Bugio was just as surprised as you were when this squat snake-like creature began to move of its own accord. Revered in the far east as a serpentine bringer of luck, it must have wriggled on board a ship bound for the shores of Limsa. I don't really think it's a huge spoiler, but this thing from Shadowbringers, the Great Serpent, kind of exceeded its popularity from that trapping, that one area of the DLC that it's from, to expand to what we see here, being part of events that even new players can be part of, as well as other merch and whatnot. You can get Great Serpent of Ronka accessories like a ring from one of the recent Moogle events, another thing you could get before you actually encounter the serpent in the main story. I'm pretty sure there are other Great Serpent things, like this, not necessarily a minion, that you can get from anywhere really, like clothing or mounts or something. But the serpent itself is locked behind the actual DLC, which is to say, the serpent minion that this is modeled after. But I guess minions are fair game for spoilers, because players are allowed to walk around areas like this, with the minion around. So if a minion were a spoiler, they could walk around a new player and just parade it in front of them, and they'd be none the wiser. I guess there are some minions like that, but you don't really learn too much just by seeing a little minion, I don't think. You'd be surprised though. There are some that feel like they're too spoilery. Oh, I think the little serpents here have some kind of interaction. Some minions do that, either with duplicates of themselves or with minions that they pair with. They have special behaviors. Sometimes they'll just walk up to each other, or sometimes they'll have special animations, I think. Or it could have just been a coincidence that these two kind of walked towards each other, facing each other. But I'm pretty sure they have some kind of interaction here. Maybe. Anyway, my fortune. Or rather, Komori's fortune. What are the origins of Omikuji? Omikuji date back thousands of years. 'Tis said that 12 beasts of Far East legend known locally as messengers of the divine, once appeared before a monk in his dreams, and imparted to him 12 divine revelations each. Komori is something of a messenger herself. Believing the vast wisdom bestowed upon him was not his alone to keep, the monk compiled each of the 12 revelations from the 12 beasts into fortunes, 144 all told, and then began a journey to spread this knowledge to others, for the benefit of all. As he traveled the land, word of the fortune spread far and wide throughout the Far East. That, my friend, is how Omikuji came to be. Interesting that that comes from some sort of origin about delivering messages. I guess messages kind of go in tandem with luck. Something like that. Well, the way he told it made it seem like they were related. I guess drawing a fortune is sort of like receiving a message from the gods, so to speak. I am but a man who, over the course of many winters, has come to find himself enthralled by the mysteries surrounding the number 12. The 12 beasts of the Far East, the 12 deities of Eosia, and the 12 surnames of Viera males. Do you not find your own curiosity piqued by how the number appears in myriad cultures around the star? I cannot help but wonder if there is some connection we have yet to discover. It was during my journey to uncover this mystery that I discovered the Omikuji, and it is the Omikuji which have led me to where I stand today. I neglected to tell you my name. It is Kinpira, at present. The we Viera who have chosen to venture from our homeland are prone to changing our names on a whim. I'm a rather unusual case. I switch between 12 different names depending on the outlook of my fortune. Interesting. Kinpira. I don't really know what that descends from, but Keen might be coming from gold, so that might be a good fortune. Don't know what Pira descends from. Alright, let's actually draw it. I'm going to say, ahead of time, this is going to be Komori's fortune, and not my fortune in real life. So if it's a bad one, it'll be on Komori and not me. When I draw fortunes on my main character, I guess I'll say that'll be for my fortune for this year. You may draw as many as you like, if you're a cheater, but know that you must pay a fee of 100 gil per draw. Very good, I shall be happy to oblige. Alright Komori, what's the outlook look like for this year? Oof. That's not a good one. It's not the worst one. It's a pretty bad one. I'm glad I'm not sharing that with you, Komori. Even if we are partners, that's all on you. Misfortune. Thou shalt experience misfortune. Heed these words of guidance, and thy luck may change. Adventure. The future holdeth despair, disaster. Be as a light in the darkness to those around thee. Well, I guess we could say that could be related to the main story quest, with my own foreknowledge of the upcoming events. Oof. Well, that's not really a spoiler. Bad things happen in the story isn't really a spoiler because most stories have bad things and good things, but yeah, I can see why this fortune would pertain to Komori. Anyway, relationships. With sincerity, shalt thou allay misunderstanding. Yeah, that would also pertain to what I was thinking of for the main story quest, also relating to relationships. In particular, well, we'll get back to that later. Prosperity. Games of chance do not favor thee. Abide in patience. I guess we're not going to win big on the Cactpot this year. I'll be entering it every week though, regardless. Highest I've ever won the Cactpot was the second prize, I guess, or his third prize. Whatever is getting 2 numbers correct. I was hoping to get all 4 numbers correct at some point in my life, but that's pretty unlikely. And if this is any indication, not gonna happen to Komori. Conflict. Even in victory, thy heart's desire shall elude thee. Perseverance is the key. Komori does seem like the type of person to experience Pyrrhic victory to me. She's that kind of combative person, I think. How fitting. But of course, any fortune that you read is written in such a way that it could be pertaining to anyone, really. It's fun to draw the lines, though. Connect the dots, or whatever. Favor. To rise above hardship as tumultuous as a navigator's raging waves, thou must bide thy time. Alright, we'll take our time. That's what we've been doing as Komori anyway. That's what this whole series is about. Pacing myself going through the main story and recording these little by little. We'll get there eventually. And maybe if I continue on this trend, I'll be back here next year with a better fortune. We'll see. How did you fare? Whether it was the desired result or otherwise. I pray the words imparted by the fortune serve to guide you in the coming days. Okay, that one was for Komori. And I said I was going to do another one on my main character for myself, but since I'm kind of strapped for time, and just to pad out the length of this episode even more than I've already done, I'll do one more drawing for myself. Sorry Komori, even if this is a good one, it's all for me. And if it's an even worse fortune than the one you got, then maybe we can trade. That's a pretty good one. That's at least not bad fortune. I forget the pronunciation, but the kanji for small and good luck. Obviously. Thou shalt experience limited fortune. Keep these words of guidance in thy heart. Adventure. Know thy destination before thou embarkest upon thy journey. Relationships. A face from thy past shall appear. Rekindle thy friendship. My own past, huh? I wonder. Well, I'll keep that in mind. But that's generally good advice in general. Don't want to let relationships die out. Prosperity. Although it be at great expense, thou shalt obtain the object of thy desire. Great expense, huh? That could be either monetary or otherwise. But what is the object of my desire anyway? It could be the expensive doujinshi that I import from Japan, but I wouldn't consider that a great expense, although maybe it's greater than I imagine, the amount I pay for that sort of thing. Conflict. Continue honing thyself with thine allies. And favor. Be carefree like unto the wanderer, and some few failures shall not discourage thee. Carefree. Am I a carefree person? I try not to be when it comes to work. But if it comes to failure, I can only think of that applying to my actual real-life work. I don't think I want to be carefree about that. I'll choose to think that this relates to some other thing. Being carefree about, I don't know. Maybe this. Some few failures that I have with this little side hobby I have of recording videos and putting them online. I'm sure I'm going to encounter some failures here and there. I've actually encountered a lot of failures when uploading these things. Little typos and such. But I'm sure I'll get a lot more later on. I'll try to be carefree about it, since this is, of course, Just a hobby that I do for myself. Sorry, Komoi. Even though it's better than yours, I'm not sharing. Not trading. And that's it for the Heavensturn event. Leave it to me to turn a 20-minute event into a 60-minute one. Do these NPCs actually... oh, they do. Let's go see the sights. Forget that, I'm hungry. Now, be civil. Actually, oh my god, I was wrong. They do move. The NPCs moved after the event. Huh. And they're just right here as nameless NPCs. I guess we can have one last look to make sure we've seen everything. What's Chloe doing here? We haven't even met her yet, and she's here. She's from, Heavensward. She should be in a city way over here in Dravania, which we can't even access yet. Idleshire, or Idleshire. But I guess she came here for the event. Chloe used to think snakes were awful, squirmy, scaly beasts, but thanks to those fellows from the Far East, I think I've had a change of heart. Apparently there's this one serpent, the Great White Tsuchinoko, that's almost impossible to find. Though Chloe bets with all the adventuring you do, you'll come across it sooner or later. You've already crossed paths with it? That's incredible. I wonder how they decide which NPCs show up for these events. Pretty sure this is just a normal NPC. Chloe, huh? Maybe if I play on my main character, there will be more story-related NPCs around here, but guess we got that one. And there could be more in other parts of the city, but I did see Rowena over here, so that's one more. I'm not sure where to check for special event NPCs like this, but guess I'll check all of the locations that we went to for the trivia. Rowena, of course, is the head of the consortium, which appears in a lot of the side content, but what we've done so far, just related to Durant's quest, one of his old flames, or old working buddies, so to speak. It's complicated. Got some time before my next meeting. Figured I'd give this Slithery trivia trial a shot. Heard there's a lucky little something waiting at the end of the quiz, too. Claiming something bestows good fortune. Well, that's hardly something you can prove, right? But folks have been lining up to get their hands on a prize. Which got me thinking. Clearly, there's a demand for lucky bits and bobs. If I get the word out that my goods magically help with money woes, or something to that effect, people will happily hand over an extra gill or two. I'll be raking it in. Now that's daytime. Just in case I use it for the thumbnail. I do want these kites, or whatever. That might be the thumbnail. Might use the nighttime one, but I think daylight might be better for the coming of a new year. That and just for better picture quality in general. No one really here. Thought there might be one NPC, like event NPC, per tour area, or quiz area. Seems like they just moved the 3 Yoriki. Was it Yoriki? Something like that. And... huh, she abandoned her post. Or no, this guy's here to replace her. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Let's head back to base. We are now done with the Moog quests for now. It was a quite long detour, but we're finally back here. I guess if you consider doing the Crystal Tower raids as part of the detour, but we'll progress the main story quest next time. For now, let's retire to our little room here. Where's that snake? Get over here. Oh, right, no minions in this area. Oh well. Now would be a good time to take a break.